Move right means exercising in a controlled environment with exercises that very deliberately strengthen various muscle groups, various joints, in a way that not only promotes your athletic performance, but also massively decreases the chances of injury.
Exercising in a controlled environment is probably one of the key factors in the enjoyment you get from your sport, but also the kind of performance you can achieve and preventing injury in the longer term. I suppose the type of injuries can be roughly separated into those that are intrinsic, so in other words it's something to do with the way the person is, the way the sportsman is, and then extrinsic injuries, which obviously in contact sports like rugby would be if you get hit, if you get collisions that produce a force that causes an injury. Now the second one's obviously that's more to do with technique of the sport you're playing and the level of physicality of the sport. But the more interesting one perhaps is the intrinsic injuries, in other words those injuries that are inherent in the shape you are. But it means that you have to be aware of the type of training you do and know how to best get the best out of your own body. A particular injury that's more related to wear and tear might be the Achilles tendon. You can get something called Achilles tendinopathy or disease of the Achilles tendon. It's a not uncommon condition. Probably the risk factors, the things that have been leading to it becoming an issue, have been there for some time, but the body's really good at compensating, and quite often you don't feel that there's a problem even though the imbalances or the poor muscle control that are in the background causing the tendinopathy have been there for quite some time. But those factors are much more to do with postural control of the leg, the type of training that you've been using for that, and also just the whole posture and gait of that person. That's critical for minimising the risk of this sort of thing developing. An ACL rupture, an ACL stands for anterior cruciate ligament. So a ligament is what joins two bones together, as opposed to a tendon that joins a muscle to a bone. And in the knee there are four main ligaments. So here's a knee model. Here's the kneecap at the front, and then there's the femur or thigh bone, and there's the top of the shin bone there. And on the outside of the knee you can see two of the ligaments, the medial collateral, sometimes called the MCL, and on the outside you can see the lateral collateral or LCL ligament. So those are two outer ligaments and they prevent the knee effectively moving side to side. Here's the anterior cruciate ligament. So anterior because it's coming from the front of the shin and diving up diagonally to the back of the thigh. So if I turn the knee around, you can see the anterior cruciate ligament coming up to the back of the femur here. So it's connecting the back of the femur to the front of the tibia. And then the fourth ligament is the posterior cruciate ligament. So that's the one starting at the back of the tibia, and then it's going diagonally forwards. And so the two ligaments cross over, hence the term cruciate or cross ligaments. And those four ligaments basically hold the two bones together and allow movement in the joint, but don't allow excess movement. A lot of sports have been woefully ignorant of the requirements of core. I mean, essentially for your arms and legs to be able to move well and efficiently and do the sports you want to do, be it tennis or kicking in football and rugby or just running, you've got to have a stable trunk. And what's more, because the arms are trying to control the trunk or the legs are trying to control the trunk, something that it should be doing itself, that leads to more injuries. There's a natural human tendency to stick to the exercises that you like doing, that you're familiar with, and avoid the ones that you don't feel you're quite so good at. Yet that's not going to help you in the longer run. It's not going to balance the body and make sure that all the components of muscle control and tension and stretching, for example, are all balanced. That's a key factor in the body. doesn't matter so much the out and out power, as long as that power is balanced across the muscle groups. There's a really significant focus for you to aim for and to target, but once that finishes, it's harder to find those targets, it's harder to find those points of motivation. I found it phenomenally different doing it with a trainer. The amount that you do, the feedback you get, the amount of satisfaction you feel at the end of a session is just completely different. It's a far more efficient way. If you're going to spend an hour, what you want to do is maximise what you're going to achieve in that hour, rather than just sort of faff around going from one machine to another, not really doing very much.